All right, it is 3:55 p.m. And so what's relevant is not only the maintenance of the light source, which is directly compared to what's over the Upland Public Library. And again, Upland Public Library is just a vivid illustration. The entity is documented and surrounded with evidence suggesting that the sun is remaining at the same time at more than one venue, not only at more than one venue, but for the duration of the day at most of the venues that I documented. Okay, and then some of those anomalies, like when I went to Azusa, California, the entity was maintaining the light source over me when I went to Azusa. Never go to Azusa. At what point is the sun ever going to be over Azusa, California, while it's remaining over Alvarado Gardens all day long? Do you understand? And it's not occurring at the same time while I'm looking at it outside of my window of my leasing office or of my bedroom. It's rising and setting here. There is no point within the natural environment context that's happening. It's not moving at the same time, remaining stationary over me. The sun is not remaining in its zenith over everyone at the same time, everywhere, no matter where you're at. The sun at no point entered the sky space of Florida based on what the entity is engaging here at Alvarado Gardens. And at 3:55 p.m., the entity is maintaining the light source over the Upland Public Library. Okay. And yet you are again, you're remembering what the entity is doing on a daily basis, aiming engineered light through closed blinds, magnified in size. There's only one hole. The entity, these are two holes. This is magnification. Okay. These are two. This is the double appearance, and it's also magnified in size. And the blinds are closed. The entity is also then magnifying those. And it's even more, even more impossible. In other words, this is demonic. This is impossible light activity. And the entity is creating what is super magnified size of these holes that includes the movement of the tree leaves that are outside of this window. And that's just letting you know that the engineered light is touching those trees. And as it's shooting through like a laser through closed blinds, it's touching on the wall. And that's how you see that. That's what those demons were doing while they had headlights that was touching on the tree and the shadow of those trees appearing on the distance onto the nearest surface, which was that wall. But that's not headlights. That's also dynamic light. Those aren't headlights. That's a demon stalking in the path with light. And while the entity is maintaining at 3:55 p.m. inside of my apartment at 1806 North Alvarado Street in Los Angeles, California, the light source remains over the Upland Public Library, and that's not occurring at the same time. This is capturing the specific environment. All right, but you're looking at the light activity. There's no doubt that the light source is definitely here. It's hovering above me, just like you see day in and day out, and this is capturing the demonic environment. This is direct evidence that you're going to use to prosecute the people of the state, surrounded with what is direct evidence of what is the impossible. This is a demonic targeting, a satanic ritualistic targeting system that is based on the maintenance of a maliciously maintained environment, an environment that you remain ignorant of, and it is actually incorporating the supernatural, the demonic. And it is also demonstrated by their engagement in stalking in the path and creating light activity on the surfaces all around you, while the demon-possessed are indeed targeting you. The entity also engages in targeting via the creation of amplified audible activity. Demons surround, and they engage in what is also harassment, while loud, thunderous noises are created, both while I'm documenting, both while I engage in any new movement, but also while demons are just generally hostile. Okay, and that creation of what is loud, thunderous, I'm on the third floor. Loud, thunderous activity, all right? Those are demons that are surrounding and they're monitoring. I'm surrounded by demons, okay? And you know that because of the maintenance of the environment. There's no sun over the Upland Public Library. There would be no sunlight inside of my apartment if that was the sun over the Upland Public Library, all right? That's speaking to the pattern of conduct, and that's letting you know about the condition of everyone and what they are doing and what the law knows that they're doing, and it's serving for a criminal prosecution. You don't have to know their name, but I happen to know their name, and they're going to federal prison, okay? That's 1806 number 5. Just giving you an example of how you're going to slice down the entity in federal court when you're prosecuting the entity that is vicariously group stalking on behalf of the public entity, the state of California, who was heavily documented group stalking in fire trucks, ambulance vehicles, and police vehicles and helicopters. All right, and the entity also does so in airplanes. This is impossible light activity that's reaching underneath the covered structure. That's impossible in and of itself, just by itself. Sunlight coming down at a downward trajectory does not bend underneath covered structure. Start paying attention to your environment. This is absolutely demonic. It's impossible light. This is gymnastics with light. All right, you're maintaining this environment because demons are surrounding and they're monitoring, touching everything with engineered light. In addition, while it's over the Upland Public Library, this is impossible light activity. And you're remembering everything that you're looking at on a daily basis while I give you another vivid illustration of what's another aspect of how impossible it is. And it's the direct evidence, literally the evidence that you're going to play in court when you're prosecuting the people. And this is the light source that's directly above me while I'm walking out of building 1806. This is the same building where the light source is over me. That was 11 o'clock this morning. It's 3:55. That's not the sun. The entity is maintaining the light source on the opposite side of the same apartment at 7 something in the morning. That's not the sun, and it's also not the sun while it is over the Upland Public Library, and none of this light activity would ever occur if that's the sun over the Upland Public Library, which is not going to be visible where in the same location you see it every day. Alvarado Gardens provides, the entity that's group stalking and monitoring me here at Alvarado Gardens provides a wonderful, very vivid template for what stalking, for what group stalking and monitoring is and how the system operates. And it's not intelligent. It's not rocket science. It's not high tech. It's not revolutionary at all. It's plain outright stalking, which is driven by a demonic obsession, and it's practiced by those who are very highly malicious, wicked individuals, to be honest with you, who basically apparently thrive off of pettiness that rises to the level of targeting somebody and thinking that they can get away with it because they're employing methods of Satan, to be honest with you, basically. But this is criminal because it's a government that doesn't have a right to place you under surveillance. They're monitoring with communication devices. So this is no ordinary bullying conduct. That's a demon crossing path. And you know that that's a demon, and you know that they're monitoring because the light source is not over the Upland Public Library. That's capturing the supernatural. That's it. That's something I cannot control. I'm not editing this. This is raw footage, and the light source, you're also looking at it move in real time while I move away from my apartment. I was in my window. You're looking at the light source remain over me while it's remaining stationary on video at 3:55 p.m. inside of the Upland Public Library. Compare the two, and you're witnessing the demonic. It's moving in real time while it's remaining stationary at the Upland Public Library. Okay, the two are not coexisting. This is telling on everyone. These are demons that surround. Those are demons that are pacing on Alvarado Street in vehicles, monitoring me, witnessing my exposing them, group stalking in the sky space, group stalking by planes and helicopters, and they are demons that surround in an environment where they're maintaining a light source. This is direct evidence against FedEx, against the United States Postal Service, against Smart Janitorial, against the entity that is maintaining presence via universal waste. Those are demons that are group stalking and harassing while I'm inside of my private space. This is direct evidence against the people of the state and all the ways in which the people of the state are providing the vicarious arm that is the mask that the government is wearing while it's stalking you. Okay, this is the government that lives all around, right? This is the facilitating venue. It's not a private residence. In the same way that the Upland Public Library is a facilitating venue. That's a state facilitating venue, so that's going to be a suit against the state of California, and also there are levels to that. The city of Upland is going to be facing some litigation as well. The entity engaged in instances of criminal summoning while they were monitoring me, and this is evidence that's going to circle back, and it's going to result in federal prison for a lot of people. It is currently 4:03 p.m. This is P.O.C. at Alvarado Gardens, where I am back in alignment with my office window, and you're seeing what is the maintenance of engineered light inside of my bedroom through closed blinds, which is also magnified, having nothing to do with sunlight, but at the same time it's over the Upland Public Library stationary, and you're looking at that light activity. That gives you another angle of analysis of that light activity that you're seeing everywhere, but including through my apartment, right? Never the sun, never the natural environment. That's P.O.C. This is direct evidence against the people. This is the prosecution of the sex offender while they're monitoring me in my private space. Understand the significance of it. You go to this extent to establish that. It's the venue, unmistakably. It's impossible in every regard, and it's the prosecution for being a sex offender. Monitoring in the private space is a sex offense. Just like any other stalker that doesn't have the right to place a recorder around you, doesn't have the right to place you under surveillance and stalk you and try to be maintain presence in your environment. That's constructive presence in the private space while they're maintaining engineered light. All right, that one's going to federal prison. That's a hopeless minion. She's going to federal prison, and that sex offender that's being documented, the people of the state are acting via cum laude. Understand that it's not one person. That's the entity that acts with impunity. She's already going to federal prison. She's going for a long time. She will probably die there because she's already like 85 years old. And I'm not being mean. I'm not being facetious. I'm dead serious. The people of the state are going to serve real consequences, and the federal prosecution is not going to make it easier for somebody who's over some certain age. In the same way that she is showing a disregard for the rights of another, and it doesn't matter what her age is. That's a demon who is showing what is impunity. All right, cum laude documented on an ongoing basis. Okay, and that demon knows exactly what's being said about her under the light source and an engineered light, the light source that's not over the Upland Public Library. And this documentation is going to be used not only against the entity, but against her and the hearings with regard to deciding the date that she's going to be shipped out. Well, actually, I think she's an American citizen, with how long she's going to sit in federal prison. All right. And she's going for a long time. Okay. Federal group stalking and monitoring is grounds for a prolonged term. It's no like couple months in federal prison. Okay. It's a serious crime committed by government. All right. So that's to be taken seriously. And while you hear the entity amplifying audible activity, those are the demons pacing on Alvarado. All right. They're monitoring while this demon walks right in front. This is what Tina Ree engaged in. This is what Lillian Barrera engaged in while the entity was group stalking by helicopter. And this is the demon that's crossing path again. Hey, Kumli, how's it going? Just pacing back and forth. Hi. That's P.O.C. All right. This is the entity engaging in what is a show of impunity. And this is in this specific environment. And this is going to be used against all of the people of the state. And many of them are families engaged in what is the pattern of conduct. And I want to be clear. Were I to take my vehicle and drive anywhere on these streets, the light source would absolutely abandon its stationary location and it would be over me. And the documentation has already established that. These are indeed the people of the state. They are indeed aware of everything that I'm saying, every move that I'm making. That's why the amplified audible activity follows where I go as I move and as I do it. All right. Simultaneity. That's the demonic hallmark. All right. The entity engages in demonic behavior. And this is all the people of the state. That's why the light source is here. That's why they're covered in engineered light. That's not even sunlight. That's the light you see magnified through my closed blinds while the sun is over the Upland Public Library. It's direct evidence against the people. And they're going to be prosecuted as sex offenders. While the light source moves to be over the same size, it's the same side of 1810 that it's over in the morning, while it's maintaining stationary presence at the Upland Public Library. All right, that is a psychopath that is pacing in real time and showing impunity, and she is showing a disregard for how long she's going to sit in federal prison. And to be honest with you, I could not care less. If she doesn't care, I don't care. This is about the ordinary target individual whose life is not going to be threatened by demon-possessed psychopaths who are acting on behalf of a government, and it's not a secret anymore. And so you're seeing that ongoing obsession continue, and the more that it persists, the more vicious that federal policy is going to be, the more serious that federal policy is necessarily created to be. All right. It is currently 4:07 p.m. This is the maintenance of the light source, which, by the way, 4:08 p.m. I'm documenting the entity keeping the light source in entirely different locations, such as Stater Brothers on Hope Boulevard and Euclid Avenue. Hope Boulevard in San Antonio, inside of the University Village. 4:08 p.m. Look at that documentation. I already gave you a reminder of that. This is, again, another distinct location, but yet at the same time, you're seeing light activity inside of the laundry room as though that's sunlight and that's sun. But even if you pay attention to this light activity inside of the laundry room, that's impossible that it's there. In addition to the light activity you saw on the wall when I went in there on Saturday, they've got light on the walls in there. These are demons that are group stalking, and there's no sun over the Stater Brothers parking lot in Ontario, California at San Antonio and Hope Boulevard, nor is there any sun remaining stationary over the Upland Public Library. All three of these venues are distinct, and there is no coexisting of the sun remaining for the duration of the day or at any time of the day at the same time. All right, this is P.O.C.